What's up, fam? Today is December 31st, and this is your Hispanic Heritage Moment yearly recap. So here's your 2025 year recap for the U.S. Latino communities. The vibe was basically culture got louder and paperwork got meaner. Let's start with a win that you could hear from space. The NFL, Apple Music, and Rock Nation announced that Bad Bunny will be headlining the Super Bowl next year. And it's crazy because some Americans were like, how is this guy performing at our Super Bowl? Like Puerto Rico's on Jupiter or something. There was a whole clip about some commentators talking about how Bad Bunny wasn't American and getting corrected in real time. Pretty sure that was a rough day for the I Skip Civics crowd. And here's a detail that most people miss. The Super Bowl is also doing something historic for accessibility. For the first time, the halftime show is set to include multilingual signing featuring Puerto Rican Sign Language led by an interpreter, Selimar Riviera Cosme. That's Puerto Rico showing up on the biggest stage in multiple languages at once, music and access included. Now for the other side of 25, immigration policy hit with real consequences, not just headlines. In March, DHS terminated the CHNV parole program for people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. That move had specific timeline. The program termination notice landed March 25th, and parole for many people who were still covered was set to end by April 24th, unless there was an individual determination. And this is the part that sounds boring until you realize it affects dinner tables. The USDA even had to send guidance to states about how the termination could change SNAP eligibility for people on that parole. The translation, policy shifts do not stay in DC, they show up at the grocery store. And now at the end of the year, a long-delayed Trump-era rule about asylum and public health snaps into place. The security bars and processing rule is scheduled to take effect today. It sets up a framework to deny asylum and withholding of removal to public deemed a public health danger during certain emergencies. Even if you agree or disagree with it, that's a huge lever sitting on the shelf waiting for the next crisis and expands on how health can become border enforcement. The people from this country are sick. Border enforcement. Now here's a bright spot in the middle of all that. Courts pushed back on an enforcement tactic that basically dared people to lose their cases by being afraid to show up to court. In North Carolina, a federal judge ordered DHS to stop courthouse arrests in that region because it forces people into a brutal choice. Either show up for court and risk getting detained, or skip court and lose your chance at asylum or relief. Either way, the system wins and the person loses. That kind of ruling matters because it's not just politics, it's due process. It's whether courts function like courts or like traps. So if you zoom out, 2025 tells a clean story. Latino culture kept breaking ceilings. Puerto Rico showed up on the biggest stage, and even accessibility got a historic win. At the same time, immigration policy got sharper teeth, and courts became one of the few places putting guardrails back up. To continue getting those weekly knowledge drops, please follow, like, and share this post with anybody you think should see it. Until next time, deuces.